Hi guys, it's Lucy here from Gemini Studios. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can do some active flexibility to help you achieve your splits. So let's get started. For this you're going to need a band, preferably one which has loops. I got this one from Decathlon. It's the best thing ever. You're also going to need some yoga blocks. I just have 2 here, but you can use 4 if you're a little bit more advanced, and you will need a foam roller. Okay, so first things first, we're just going to do some warm-up exercises. So I'm just going to fire up my glutes and my hamstrings and my hips by doing this simple exercise. Make sure that you're not leaning over to the side. You want to be stacked directly on top of the hips. Make sure you've got a good base. From here, I'm going to engage my glutes and squeeze my heel up towards my bum, and I'm going to do 10 repetitions here. So I'm squeezing the heel in, making sure that I'm not allowing my hips to lift. I'm still pushing my hips down to the floor while engaging my hamstring and my glutes. I'm then going to pulse this into my glutes, so I'm going to squeeze for 10 reps. And then I'm going to hold that squeeze as hard as I can, pulling my heel in towards my bum. Relax this and do it on to the other side. Next, we're going to come into our straddle, so we're having the legs into a V, and you're going to think about really engaging those legs. So all the way from your hips down to your toes, you're going to engage your quads and your calves, nice pointy toes, and we're going to lift the legs up off the floor. Again, aim for 8 to 10 reps of these. We're going to do a few on both legs, and then we're going to take it over to a single leg, so just doing it on one side. Again, keep those legs as straight as you can, point those toes. You'll really feel this engagement in your hips. And swapping over to the other leg. Good, and from here, you can cue that hip cramp because these ones are hard. Okay, next thing, the same exercise, we're going to make it a little bit more challenging. So we're going to grab some blocks and you're going to lay them at a 10 and 2 angle. Then from here, starting in a pike, you're going to slowly lift the leg up and over the blocks so that you come into a straddle and then meet the legs back together again. Repeat this on both sides. For a harder challenge, you're going to change the blocks so that they're on a medium height or on their side. Again, this is going to help to strengthen those hips because you're having to lift the legs up higher as we come up over the blocks. For the hardest option, you're going to turn the blocks onto the top so that they're on their highest setting. And again, you're going to make sure that you're lifting the legs all the way over. For our next exercise, this is just a nice strengthening one for our glutes. It's really important to have strong glutes for coming into your splits because it helps to really open up your hips. So I'm going to lay my blocks stacked on top of each other, and I'm going to pop my hips on top of the blocks, relaxing my chest down to the floor. I'm then squeezing my heels into my bum, and I'm engaging my glutes to lift my knees up off the floor so that my toes come towards the ceiling. I'm just doing a few repetitions here where I'm lifting the legs up. Again, aim for 8 to 10 reps. And then once I've done those, I'm going to hold it at the top and I'm just going to start to pulse those knees. So I'm going to squeeze in and out, just pulsing the exercise. And then I'm going to come into a 10-second hold. And relaxing back down. Okay, next up. This time we're only going to need one block. We're going to place it behind us so that we can bring our ankle onto the block. Coming into your pigeon pose, so wrapping the front leg across, we're going to again make sure that we're stacking our hips on top of this. We're not leaning down to one side. Then from here, I'm tensing all the way through my leg, pointing my toe, and I'm squeezing into my glutes to help lift my knee up off the floor. This is a really good one for activating those hips and to help open the hips, which will make it easier for us to come into our splits. Make sure you keep squeezing those glutes, engage those quads and point the toes. If you already have your splits, you can also do this one to help you with an oversplit. So coming into the full splits, repeat the exact same exercise, really squeeze those glutes, try to keep the hips down towards the floor and just slowly lift the knee up. Repeat this a few times on each side. Okay, grabbing a foam roller now, we're going to move on to the next one. This one's a little bit tricky. So we're going to come into a position where you've got your ankle resting onto the roller. And we're going to start to slide nice and slow and controlled. You're going to slide forward on the roller so that you're coming into the deepest split possible. Don't worry if you haven't got a nice deep split or your full splits just yet. These ones will really help. And again, this is good for strengthening because you're going to start to use the strength of your hips and your legs to pull yourself back in. So here I'm not using any hands, I'm just using the strength of my legs to slowly pull myself back to that original start position. So onto the hands and knees, we're going to bring ourselves into a downward dog position now. We're going to shimmy the foots in so that we're having a little bit of a tighter gap between the toes and the hands. And I'm going to start to lift my leg up towards the ceiling, coming into what we call a kick up. Now, as I'm lifting my leg up to the ceiling, I want to make sure that I'm keeping it nice and straight, engaging all the way through. As you can see, I've got a slight bend in the knee there. So you want to make sure you're really pushing to keep that leg as straight as possible. And as we're coming in, you're going to think about pushing the chest in towards the thigh. So as I'm lifting the leg up, my chest is coming in. As you work through the exercise, you might find that you can push in a little bit further. Just see how you feel in the stretch. And then there I was just doing a few pulses, and now I'm just thinking about taking my toes down towards my back and then lifting it back up. So again, we'll do a few on each side. If that feels a little bit easy, then you can always change to add in a resistance band. So again, I've just got one loop on either leg and I'm just thinking about pulling that band nice and tight and then relaxing down. Obviously, the tighter the band is, the harder the exercise. Having a little dance. Okay, so next one, again, using the band. We're wrapping the band around each of the feet. This is a similar exercise to what we were just doing, except this time we're laying down. So coming down onto your back, we're going to think about having the legs nice and straight, and we're going to lift one leg at a time up towards the ceiling. Now it's important when you get to that top section of the stretch that you really try and think about pushing the toes up to the ceiling so that we're straightening through the knee. With each of these, you're going to think about bringing the leg as close into the chest as you can. Again, I'm just using the strength of those legs. I'm not using my hands to pull the leg in, and I'm really fighting against the resistance of the band. So I would advise doing maybe 4 to 6 on each side for these. So last one here, this is just a nice one to build the strength. We're going to do some like lunge shifts. So you're going to think about coming into a side lunge. Without using the hands, you're going to try to push up and over. And with each repetition, when you come down, you're thinking about really straightening through that leg, pushing the hips down to the floor and flexing the toes. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. There's some little tutorials on how you can improve your active flexibility for your splits. If you liked this video, then please leave a comment, give it a thumbs up and subscribe.